This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
I think there's some indication with the hospitalizations being flat that we may have already peaked.
Now at 6, some encouraging information from an expert tracking COVID-19, while he says the forecast is changing.
A local lab is developing an antibody test to help you know your risk for getting COVID-19.
$25 million is on the way to help small businesses in Indianapolis and their employees. We'll show you the plan for the money.
The Colts are on the clock. It's night 2 of the NFL draft right here on RTV6. The Colts have 3 picks. Sports director Dave First looks at the possibilities.
Welcome into the news at 6. I'm Amanda Starantino at the RTV6 studios.
And I'm Mark Mullins bringing you the news from my home tonight. It is a perfect evening to be outside. Just ask this man on the sailboat out on Eagle Creek Reservoir. It appears that he is practicing social distancing, but changes are coming for the weekend. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory with your forecast. Kevin.
Yeah, Mark, a day on the reservoir, a nice day for that. It wasn't too windy. You know, we've had many days this spring that were too windy for sailing, but right now, wind is calm. Temperature is comfortable. We're at 65, and the humidity is low. Through the evening hours, we'll stay dry. Temperatures as warm as 71 in Bedford, 69 in Sullivan, and from north to south, everybody about average or maybe a little above average for this time of the year. Where you see the gray is the cloud cover. Where you don't, we've had more sunshine. Over in Illinois, just west of Champaign, there have been some isolated downpours and even some isolated thunderstorms. We're not expecting that until tomorrow. Temperature by 10 o'clock tonight down to 60 degrees. As far as your Saturday plans, our rain chances will increase significantly, but really the second half of the day. So I think you've got some wiggle room in the morning to get out and do some yard work before this happens. The rain chance going way up.
Thank you, Kevin. The impact of coronavirus and its impact on Indiana remains our top story.
Let's take a look at what the situation is tonight. The Indiana State Department of Health confirms 35 new COVID-19 deaths. 741 people in Indiana have died from the coronavirus since the pandemic began. The state also reports 656 new cases of COVID-19, so a total of 13,680 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with the coronavirus, and 75,553 people have been tested for COVID-19.
Indiana may already have peaked when it comes to COVID-19. That's according to a health data expert who says some of our state's key numbers are starting to show improvement. Call 6 Investigates' Kara Kenny went beyond the state's numbers and joins us with what this means moving forward.
Hundreds of people in Marion County are in the hospital with COVID-19. New numbers show hospitalizations in Indianapolis area are actually going down while they remain flat throughout the state. Many people focus on the growing number of cases of COVID-19, but a health data expert says hospitalizations are key because they show the number of people sick enough to go to a hospital.
People are still getting diagnosed with the disease, but many of those people who are getting diagnosed are not necessarily then showing up in a hospital, which means they may have mild symptoms, they may be asymptomatic, able to remain at home.
Dr. Brian Dixon is the director of public health informatics at the Regenstrief Institute in Indianapolis. He gathers data on hospitalizations to help the State Department of Health get a better picture of what's going on with COVID-19. He also created this dashboard, which shows hospitalization trends.
The kind of slope of the curve for the last sort of week or 10 days is not as dramatic as it was, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
You can see the number of people hospitalized statewide flattening out. 2,600 people were hospitalized with COVID-19 on April 23rd.
We saw them climb steadily at the beginning of this outbreak, actually through sort of the beginning part of April. And since then, they have begun to level off.
The state originally said most of Indiana would peak in early May, but Dixon says new numbers show that may not be the case.
I think there's some indication with the hospitalizations being flat that we may have already peaked. I think this is a good indication of that.
Dixon says social distancing and stay-at-home orders are likely reasons for the flattening. This chart shows over the past few weeks, hospitalizations in central Indiana have actually dropped.
So in this area, hospitalizations have actually begun to fall, which is a really good sign.
Currently, the average length of stay in a hospital for COVID-19 is 12 days. Reporting in Indianapolis, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
An Indianapolis lab is developing an antibody test to give you more information about your risk of getting COVID-19. The hope is that this helps you stay safe and helps the state rebound faster from the virus. Rafael Sanchez reports the lab says it could have 1 million tests ready in a matter of weeks.
Marine Zach Kahn has a new call to duty. The owner of ARIA Diagnostics Lab is close to bringing to market an antibody test to determine if you are likely or not to get COVID-19.
We all want to know right now if we carry the antibody to this COVID-19. Can I go back to work safely? Do I have to worry about going back to work in the fall when flu season arrives? You're working on some stuff. Why is that key?
You hit the nail on the head there, Rafael. I think the way to get out of this is to test. The one that we're looking at strongly is a pinprick test. So it's very similar to a blood glucose monitoring test. It takes about 15 minutes and costs $20. That price could change, but we're pretty confident in the price. But the technology is very simple. 15 minutes, you know if you have the IgG antibodies.
The Carmel High School Graduates Lab already manufactures COVID-19 testing kits, donating a shipment of 50,000 to New York City to help with their efforts. In turn, the Big Apple is buying thousands more of those kits. That's meant a doubling of Kahn's workforce to keep up with the demand. It shows no sign of slowing down, as there's a push from the public and politicians calling for more testing.
It's like a Marine taking a field when half of the combatants have live rounds and the other half have blanks, and we just don't know who we're supposed to be firing at. Without knowing who is positive and who's not, because more than half of our patients that we've found positive were completely asymptomatic. We need to test everybody.
Working for you, Rafael Sanchez, RTV6.
ARIA Diagnostics says the test will not roll out until they can verify the tests are accurate, accessible, and affordable. Governor Eric Holcomb signed an executive order allowing more healthcare providers and facilities to resume elective medical procedures starting Monday. The rule behind this, those providers and facilities must have enough personal protective equipment. This order that opens up elective and non-urgent medical procedures applies to dentists, hospitals, and veterinarians. Again, this goes into effect on Monday.
The Rebound Indiana is RTV6's commitment to stories that will help you navigate these uncertain times and show you exactly how the state is trying to recover. Help is on the way for small businesses in Indianapolis. The City County Council unanimously approved $25 million for the Indy Chamber Rapid Response Loan Fund. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum shows us how this money is going to be used and the impact it could have on thousands of people.
This is typically the busiest time of year for Hinchman Racing uniforms. Located on Gasoline Alley, they make custom race suits for drivers all across the country. But the pandemic is hitting their business hard.
It's had a huge effect on our business. When they closed racing down, virtually the phones quit ringing.
Nancy Chumley says she's owned the business for 21 years and was a secretary here for 20 years before that. She says they've weathered storms before, but never anything like this.
People now, instead of, buying a race suit, they're trying to feed their family.
She thinks they'll be able to pull through thanks to the Indy Chamber's Rapid Response Loan Fund.
It creates an opportunity for us to help small businesses access those loan funds at a time when they need it most.
Since launching the Rapid Response Program about a month ago, the Chamber has closed on more than $1.8 million in loans. And thanks to a vote from City County Council this morning, they'll have an additional $25 million to help even more small businesses. That money will be backed by the federal stimulus bill.
We're over 1,000 inquiries already. And what we're hearing from businesses is that they want to keep their employees, they want to keep their customers, they want to pay their suppliers, but that they need access to capital to do it. And that's why a program like Paycheck Protection Loans is so important.
We've all applied for the different programs and, had our fingers crossed that we would be one of the lucky ones to get our loans through quickly. And it's just, it's businesses who've been around forever. This is a lifeline.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
We have more information about the Indy Chamber's Rapid Response Loan Fund on our website, theindychannel.com.
Today, President Donald Trump signed a $484 billion measure that will aid hospitals and employers that are under stress due to COVID-19. The bill is designed to help keep businesses afloat, especially the ones that have had to close or dramatically change their operations because of the virus. And a large pork processing plant in Indiana is shutting down on a temporary basis due to COVID-19 concerns. Indiana Packers in Delphi announced today it was temporarily closing as part of its ongoing health and safety assessments. The company said the decision was made in light of the growing number of positive COVID-19 tests in the area.
Despite all of the job losses because of the coronavirus pandemic, many companies are still hiring.
And it's always our mission to connect you to job opportunities through our Hiring Hoosiers initiative.
So let's go to the Hiring Hoosiers job feed. The Indiana Department of Transportation will hold a virtual job fair where more than 100 positions will be available. This is happening Thursday, April 30th from 10 to 11 a.m. We do have a link for you to participate in the INDOT job fair right now on hiringhoosiers.com and on the RTV6 app.
Optima Home Services is looking for a full-time personal care assistant to support physically or mentally challenged customers in their everyday lives.
Caregivers to Personal Care Services is looking for certified nursing assistants. They are offering a sign-on bonus as well.
Carol's Restaurant Group is hiring 4 shift supervisors for 4 different Burger King locations around central Indiana.
All of these jobs came from our Hiring Hoosiers job board at hiringhoosiers.com. Companies post their openings on that board every day, and there is a link to the application process. Just go to hiringhoosiers.com and you can look at that job board. RTV6 is proud to be working together with the United Way of Central Indiana to help our community rebound from the pandemic. We're teaming up for the COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Fund. The initiative supports organizations that serve people and families affected by the pandemic. You can donate to the fund by texting HELP 2020 to 91999. Again, that's HELP 2020 to 91999.
If you're driving up or driving through for dinner this weekend, why not have some fun doing it? One spot in Greenwood is open and have it feeling like summer already. Service with a smile under all those face masks on the news at 6.
After round 1 of the NFL draft last night, Colts GM Chris Ballard considers his many options, including a very deep wide receiving core. I'm Dave Furst. We'll hear from him coming up at our Sports Extra Spotlight.
And it's official. I will have a special guest during my main weather. Stick around to find out who that will be. Off to the west, thunderstorms in central Illinois. Where will they be tomorrow? The answer coming up.
RTV6 Hiring Hoosiers Parker.
Back in the day, a trip to a drive-in restaurant was a regular thing. These days, it's pretty much the only thing.
That is the truth, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun. One restaurant in Greenwood is putting some smiles on faces while sending some good meals to go. Our Brad Brown has a look.
For most of us, lunch and dinner are coming via drive-thru or drive-up. The crew at Bubbas 33 in Greenwood have turned the pickup process into a party.
It's been fantastic to see how our leadership has allowed us to really explore any option that was necessary. You know, no one has been concerned about cost. It has always been about safety first for our guests and for our staff. And then what is the ease for people coming in and out?
Doug and his staff have essentially moved their restaurant's operation into the front parking lot. The setup's pretty slick. Each space gets a number. You pull up, and that basically is your table.
Hey, how we doing, boss? Hey, living the dream, buddy.
Waitstaff take your order or radio back inside for online and call-aheads.
Curbside has been something that has been growing long before this ever happened, and now I think it's going to be something that explodes. But I think people really enjoy our food in this setting, and we're able to still give them some interaction, you know, just 6 feet away.
Order for single food. Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good one. It's a very efficient way of moving vehicles through, and even given the situation, Southsiders and beyond are turning out in some impressive numbers.
They've definitely been uber involved, as you can see, and they want to make sure our people are working and taken care of. And at the same time, we're reaching back. So anytime we can partner with a local area, like tonight we partnered with Franciscan Health, give them 10% back of our sales. A community needs both ways.
And if you do feel like cooking at home, Bubbas is selling grill packs and produce boxes for takeout as well.
We want to make sure that they have everything they need in their lives. And right now, sometimes it's difficult to get all those things. We can be one-stop shop. We can be produce. We can be meat. We can be, a little bit of today's food, a little bit of tomorrow's.
That Dine to Donate is a great program there at Bubbas 33. They sponsor a different organization every night. By the way, if you have drinks in mind, they have beer, wine, and cocktail mixes available to go as well. Bubbas 33 in Greenwood is at US 31 near Stop 11 Road. They also have a location on the 96th Street exit of I-69 in Fishers. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
And you can go to our website, theindychannel.com/open, and discover more businesses that are open for you. Kevin.
Amanda, do you have any guesses as to who my special guest might be?
I'm assuming she's furry and has 4 legs.
I'm not authorized to tell you if you're right yet. But you're not. So stay tuned to figure out who it is. Temperature 65. That's in Indy right now. Hopefully you enjoyed the day. The wind has not been as strong, and any sunshine that we have certainly makes it more enjoyable. Temperatures tonight will drop only into the lower 50s. The cloud cover keeps us warmer. I showed you some thunderstorms back in Illinois. I don't think they'll have the strength to make it here tonight, but tomorrow a different story. If you need to mow, you've got time before the sun sets this evening, and then you've got time through the first half of Saturday. Then our rain chances go up, especially toward evening. Sunday, the first part of Sunday, wet. Then we dry out during the afternoon hours. There's some strategic planning if you have yard work. Temperatures, they're in the 60s during the day tomorrow. 66 for the high. Rain chances increase, as I mentioned, mid to late afternoon, and will be highest as we get to Saturday night into Sunday morning. High temperature, average for this time of the year. We've not been at average very long. Either we're way above or way below, and that's certainly been the case here recently. Take you through the timing of the rain. Not much happening in the morning hours. We roll into the early afternoon, still scattered to the north and south, dry in Indy, but I think what happens is, as we get to the evening and overnight, the rain chances increase, especially for the eastern half of the state as we go into the morning hours on Sunday. As far as the 7-day forecast, temperatures over the next 7 days will warm to 70 on Tuesday, and then by Wednesday, 62 for the high with rain around. That's your 7-day forecast. Okay, we're broadcasting from home, right? So I thought it's time to start meeting the family. This is my wife, Susan. Are you a reluctant guest?
A little bit reluctant.
Yeah, we started negotiations last week, so she's finally made the appearance, and hopefully it'll be a recurring and growing role. Are you in for that?
Amanda? That's great, and Rory is always happy to participate, so she's here.
This makes the furry and 4 legs a little awkward.
I was right about one of them. He didn't tell us there was 2.
Good to see you. Hey, it's night number 2 for the NFL Draft, and once again, you can see it right here on RTV6.
After watching from the sidelines last night, the Colts have 2 picks in tonight's second round and another in the third. Despite the changes this year, they're ready to roll. Dave First with the Sports Extra Spotlight.
Remember when there were thousands of fans at the draft and team war rooms looked a lot like these? Well, scrap that. It's the socially distant version of the draft. And from the basement of his home, Colts general manager Chris Ballard is ready for anything.
I've got a generator now put in my house to make sure we have backup electricity. I make sure we have a backup internet. All those things.
At its heart, it's about bringing in the best athletes in this upcoming season. That means possibly putting pieces around the newly acquired Phillip Rivers. Chris says his draft board is set.
We're not changing. We're not moving it. So whether it's wideout, whether it's defensive line, whether it's O-line, right? I mean, you don't know. You got to let it play out. We're always going to take the higher talent.
And tonight, that might be selecting from a very deep wide receiving crop, including Clemson's T. Higgins and Southern Cal's Michael Pittman. But even as the athletes' preparation has changed for the draft, the team's preparation certainly looks different. Obviously, the process has changed over the last 3.5 weeks. What hasn't really? But do you worry or think about whether or not eventually that's going to affect the end result.
I guess over time will prove that right or wrong. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, our process really hasn't changed much.
Remember, their biggest move in the draft happened a few weeks ago when the Colts traded their 13th overall pick to the 49ers for defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. But no Vegas, no pop, no posse, no problem. The time is now.
You know, I feel confident in our group. I feel confident in our work and what we've done. And we think we're going to acquire good players.
The NFL Draft continues tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on RTV6 at ABC. Rounds 2 and 3, with rounds 4 through 7 tomorrow at noon. They will continue to honor the outgoing spring sport athletes in an RTV6 senior salute tonight to Pendleton Heights Camden Early. Battling back from an ACL injury early in his career, the Arabian was really looking forward to his final season in baseball. A three-sport athlete who played varsity football all 4 seasons, but his career far from done. Camden will be playing football and baseball at Wabash. Good luck, Camden. If you have an idea for an RTV6 senior salute, email me at dave.first@wrtv.com.
If you need, call 1-800-CALL-KEN.
It's just me. My wife Susan and Rory have gone upstairs for now. We'll continue to play Meet the Family next week. Meet the rain showers by tomorrow evening. 65 for the high, 58 on Sunday.
That was great to see, Kevin. Thanks for that. And I hope everyone has a great dinner break. Thanks for making RTV6 your choice for news tonight.
And remember, the NFL draft starts at 7 right here on RTV6. We'll leave you with this live look from the IMS Pagoda, looking at a beautiful downtown Indy this evening.